We're live. Welcome to UTB Blogcast number 47. It's a smaller crew tonight, and hopefully it will grow. Eric is back, who led the last blogcast, my first one that I missed, my first out. And we got a whole new face with us, Chris. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Yay, new people to grow up.
New people. The old people didn't show up, so we have new people.
Well, I figured I was one of the three viewers, so I thought I'd have to show up then.
Yeah, that's one of the rules. When we can't get the whole crew to show up, then one of our viewers has to come on.
Great, now we're going to lose the other two.
Do you want to say who you are, Chris, so UTB people know who you are? Maybe those in the forums?
Sure. I've been on UTB
you don't want to.
for... No, it's great. I've been on UTB for about a year, I think. I'm FishLove73,
right.
And as you know, I'm a lover of BlackBerry devices, and so therefore the only place that I could really call home is UTB. It's been great.
I like that.
I like the blogs. I like the articles. I like the people. It's fun. So I've been just kind of enjoying it.
So you weren't the one that answered the survey telling us to remove ourselves from the internet then? That wasn't you?
Oh. No, somebody was butthurt for some reason on that, and I have no idea why. But you guys put a lot of work into this, and as far as I know, you're not getting paid, and I think it's a heck of a service that you do for us fellow BlackBerry users. I mean, it's important because on the Orange site and on other sites, we're kind of left out in the cold. And so UTB really feels like home.
See, there were some positive responses on that. Actually, I wasn't here when we talked about the survey. Yeah, the majority of them were positive, but we kind of wanted to focus on the constructive criticism. And then in the one little post I did, I had to throw in the one that was just not constructive whatsoever, because it was really humorous, and I do know who did that. It was somebody that was banned from our channel just that week, and if he would have been that humorous on the channel, he'd probably still be on the channel. There is no humor on the channel, but anyway. First up, what did we want to talk about first? Should we go over the? Go ahead, Chris.
If anything, they can't accuse you of not being honest and showing all the cards. So
that's true.
I thought it was good that you gave, well, kind of all access to how the survey actually panned out.
I think Roy got some more responses after the responses that I saw too. I think Erica may have seen more responses than I did. I need to get those from him. Hopefully he shows up tonight. Hopefully Dave shows up tonight. Chap won't be with us. Chap's doing much more important things right now. Wayno won't be here. Blah, blah, blah. Should we hit the mailbag first? I think it was it you, Chris, that posted the reminder of the email that we have, or was that you?
That was me, and then Erica helped out with editing and made it look a lot nicer than what I originally had it as, so that was very nice of her.
Here we go. So we only got 3 emails, which is 3 more than we got, the week before. So that is a 300% increase. Yay, Chris! First one, and I know I'm going to say the name wrong, but it's from Fahed. I have recently started using BlackBerry Assistant, and I find it so useful and funny. So could you kindly talk about BlackBerry Assistant and the tricks? Personally, I really don't use the assistant that much. I've never used any of the assistants. The BlackBerry Assistant I've probably used more than anything else, and strictly when I'm driving and I want to BBM somebody. So really, the extent of my assistant use has been, BBM Robert fix the site, something like that. You too?
Brad, since you're live and on air, pull up your assistant and ask her if she is Skynet, and she will give you a very creative answer.
Really?
Yes.
Are you Skynet? Well, she is being very slow today.
No. Unlike Skynet, I believe in helping humans be more productive, and if you try to turn me off, I promise not to launch any nuclear missiles.
Very nice.
It was.
So Chris has obviously played with the assistant.
Well, I'll make it a short story. One of the BBM groups that I was in, a member had suggested that, and I tried it, and I thought it was, kind of an interesting twist, and you wouldn't expect to find it on a BlackBerry. And so, yeah, BlackBerry Assistant is really cool.
Any tips and tricks beyond finding out that, our assistant isn't out to kill us and take over the world?
It utilizes all of the resources that are in your BlackBerry. Your file manager, your BBM contacts, your regular contacts, and whatever it can't search and find in your phone, as a last resort, it'll bump over to the web and it'll give you web results. And then some people who have that Wearables BlackBerry app, it'll actually get into that and give you directions to where you're going to. So it works with mapping and lots of different things. So, and the best part about it is, since it's a BlackBerry, you're not butt dialing it a whole lot, so it'll never just spontaneously go off on you like you see with some of the other devices. So it's a really nice feature.
Erica, any experience with the assistant?
I use it mostly whenever I search for things with my physical keyboard. Other than that, I don't play with it much. I will say that what I've noticed from it, in the little bit that I have played with it, it recognizes my voice a lot better than any other voice command system I've used before, which is one reason why I don't use them, because I do have a speech impediment. So it's nice to have something that actually understands me as much as I need it to, if I would use it.
I was going to say that. The assistant, it definitely understands me better than anything else I've tried. But I don't seem to get the same level of understanding when I'm just using the voice recognition elsewhere in the phone. The assistant seems to be a higher level of recognition than if I'm just trying to, BBM via voice or something along those lines. Maybe I'm the only one that experiences that.
Like I said, I don't use the voice much, but I was playing with it. I was actually playing with it earlier this week, and I was surprised at how much it actually got from what I was saying. Because usually it's all jumbled.
Yeah. Agreed. I get the same thing.
The quality of hardware is pretty nice, because you don't have to necessarily yell into it like it's two cans on a string. I mean, it really recognizes your real voice, and it says a lot about the hardware, I think.
The next two questions both kind of fall in line with each other. One of them was really quick and to the point, from Hezron, saying he wishes there was a full-touch passport with a curved screen. Do you think there's one in the making? And then the next one came from George, and it's not very terse, but I definitely want to read this one. Greetings from Kingston, Ontario, Canada. My passport, which is now several years old, finally qualifies for replacement through Bell Canada. Bell is, shall we say, the last bastion of the Martin Bormann School of Customer Relations. So their willingness to replace my aging passport and only charge me an amount equal to the yearly wages of a third world assembly line worker is somewhat surprising. I feel like I have won the lottery. What's next? The complete revelation of Hillary Clinton's emails? Have you heard any rumors, seen any peculiar patterns in the tea leaves? Had the chicken bones fallen in a special way that might indicate a new BB-10 device coming down the pipe? It would have to be particularly good before I would be persuaded not to buy another passport, of course. Inquiring minds want to know, George. And then a cautionary note, senior citizen with selective hearing. First of all, I don't know who George is, but if George wants to blog for us, I really enjoyed reading that. But
that's creative writing at its finest.
Exactly. I actually love that email. So the question is there a BB-10 device coming? Now this is something that this is kind of a topic in itself because we've discussed this a lot. Everyone in the world seems to think that, well, everyone in the world outside the BlackBerry community and now a rather large percentage within the BlackBerry community seem to think that BB-10 is dead, regardless of the fact that Chin and BlackBerry repeatedly say that they're committed. We've got 2 updates coming, and I still abide by that. But there's certain things that we know. So, like, if somebody's saying, "Hey, should I wait for the next BB-10 device?" At this point, I would say no. We know that we will not see a BB-10 device until that hardware division is profitable, right? And not only is the hardware division need to be profitable, there needs to be a market for it. And this is where I'm starting to worry. Because the vast majority of the communications that we get from our readers is, we want another BlackBerry 10 device, I'd buy another BlackBerry 10 device immediately, blah, 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 blah. But those aren't very public in the way that these outcries from the people that are saying BlackBerry 10 is dead is public, right? If you just put your ear to the pavement and listen to the community, you're hearing a lot more of the negativity. You're hearing a lot more of people saying that they're moving to this or moving to that. There's a lot of anger. But at the end of the day, BlackBerry needs to look and go, can we make money making a device? And if they're looking out there and all they're hearing is negative towards BlackBerry 10 and negative towards another BlackBerry 10 device, why would they? You know, I mean, regardless of how much we love BlackBerry and know that they're there to provide us something new and innovative and fresh, they still have to be able to sell a device. And it's really beginning to worry me, the uproar of the community that seems to be growing against them. Help me out here.
Well, let me start off by saying I agree with you. At the same time, this is what these customers are hearing from these ill-informed reps at these carrier stores, and that's probably the other rationale BlackBerry would be using to maybe step away from the carriers and just continue online sales, because that's, I mean, in reality, that's the way it's been for, you know, since BB-10 came out. I think there's been more sales through BlackBerry than there has been at the carrier stores, because every carrier store I've been to in the Midwest, they give me this funny, cross-eyed look every time I mention BlackBerry. So they're the ones reinforcing the image of BlackBerry being dead. And if I was BlackBerry, I wouldn't have any affiliation with the carriers at all. I'd just keep them GSM, unlocked, web page, and because that's how the majority of BlackBerry users are getting their devices anyway. And then let us as users, you know, keep telling people how good BlackBerry is, because if they don't have the resources for marketing, I really don't see a way around that elephant in the room, which is the carriers.
It just struck me right now. This is the first time we've had 3 Americans on the Blogcast, and only 3 Americans. So the 3 of us are used to having, you know, our wants and needs tossed aside by our carriers in favor of a disposable, very expensive iPhone.
I will say that I remain hopeful. I think that I hope that there will always be, at least in the foreseeable future, a BlackBerry 10 device on the market or in development. I know that it's bleak right now because of everything that is happening and because of the promises that Chen made, but I stay hopeful because I see what they're doing on the back end with software and enterprise, and I hope that they'll continue to develop their own phone so that that is utilized to the fullest extent. And that's kind of where I see it going. Like we've mentioned before about how it will become a much more limited market for them. But I still hold out some hope that there will always be something out there for us that want a BB10.
I have no doubt that there will be BlackBerry devices, and I seriously have no fear of the device business going away. All the device business really needs to do at this point is not lose money. And by every indication that we've heard from Chin, he's planning on that to take place come September, right? So the device business is not their core business anymore. It always was, and I think at this point it's still their major source of revenue. But they are diving into the software business. We're seeing, you know, where these acquisitions are leading. I forget the numbers of growth, the percent, 100 times, 300 times, whatever it was, of growth that the software side saw in the last earnings call. They are a software company, and they could very easily become a software company that provides the telephone hardware just as a value add. I keep looking at Amazon, and I know that you can't really combine the two. You know, one is a marketplace, one is a technology company, and one is in the middle of a turnaround, and one of them has a shitload of money. Pardon my French. But like the Kindles are not a source of revenue for Amazon. They sell those as low as they can because that is something that will help them make money where they're actually making money, which is, you know, on that digital content that they're selling. The same way BlackBerry offering devices gives exactly what they keep repeating over and over again. It gives them an end-to-end solution, an end-to-end security solution that they can offer their customers. And I think as long as that's their goal, we will have hardware. The question is, are we going to see more BB10, and when are we going to see more BB10? I mean, I think every one of us can agree we won't see another BB10 device until that hardware division is profitable. And if suddenly BlackBerry 10 became hugely popular tomorrow, and they had, you know, several 100,000 people calling them asking them for BB10, then there'd be a business reason to do it. But at this point, BB10 has not really saved the company. It hasn't made the company the revenue that they needed to survive and not have to go become a software company. I think they need to look at the market, and if suddenly there is a market for BB10, then they might do that. At the same time, I haven't met a single BlackBerry person that does not love BB10, right? That is their baby. They love the software. They want to have more BB10 phones, but they've got to keep the company alive. And when they come out, and I will say when because I'm still very hopeful and intent that they will, but when they come out with the next BB10 device, it needs to be at a time that it can be profitable.
Yeah.
So what can we do to make it profitable? Promote the hell out of BB10. Stop being crybabies yelling in the corner because you didn't get your arcade phone, because you didn't get your Z50 so that you could, crush candy all day and post to Instagram without buttons on your phone. It drives me nuts, the people second guessing. Just stop it. Support the company that you're a fan of. And if you, what is it? What's the movie? If you build it, they will come. If you tear it down, they won't come. How about that?
Well, I have high hopes for BB10 because, I mean, it really is a rock-solid OS. It's really, really secure. I know we talk about security too much here, but the reality is people that buy BlackBerries don't want their contacts given to Google. They don't want to be emailing their doctors and having Google scan the emails, figuring out how to advertise to them. They're a prosumer is the word I've heard. So I think there's always going to be a specific market segment for BB10, and I think Chen knows that because otherwise he probably would have axed it when the Priv came out. He would have said, "Oh, this is going to be our device. This is what we're going to do." But they didn't give it the axe. People are still using it, and so I keep using mine, and I'm going to continue to use it as long as I can because it is a really smooth, fluid OS. It's just a multitasking beast. I mean, I can be messaging people, watching videos at the same time, and that 3 gig of onboard memory just screams. I mean, you try to do that with another device, and it just won't work. I mean, they're extremely multitasking capable phones, and even for things like games, because as you know, games are memory hogs. And try playing a game with, even on an Android with like 1 gigabyte of onboard memory. It won't work. So I mean, BlackBerries are fast. They're smooth, especially BB10. I'm kind of curious on how some Priv owners, because that has 3 gig of onboard memory as well. I mean, Brad, is it a fast device as well?
I've always had some form of an Android device, usually some tablet. I've had I went through a bunch of the Samsung Galaxy tabs. Each one, when it came out, this was the new one, this is the one that was going to be great. It had all the memory, it did this and that, and you'd have it for like a week and you realize that it's something that wasn't going to be productive. And I ended up giving a lot of those away, returning a few of them. I went through a bunch of cheap Android tabs, and no matter which Android I had, it would bog down really fast. It would slow down really fast. Even the top of the line Samsung tabs I had would just, oh my God, they slow to a crawl. Android on the Priv is not nearly as quick and smooth as BlackBerry 10. There's no comparison, there's no competition. But I really do think it's the smoothest experience I've had on an Android. It does hiccup, it does lag, it will stutter and stall every now and then, but I've never had an Android that didn't. And personally, I've never had an Android that was quicker than my Priv. But you're talking about what you could do with your BlackBerry 10. It's so frustrating. I keep crashing into walls on my priv. It was just it was today. It was a little bit before this started, as I was sitting there trying to figure out something with the podcast. I'm watching a YouTube video, and I flipped over to something else, and it popped up, a little Google message that if you would like to continue playing YouTube videos in the background, you can subscribe to YouTube Red for such and such dollars. I couldn't believe it. It's like they just hit you with advertisements everywhere, and just to do something that's basic to us BlackBerry users, they want to charge you for it. It's so frustrating. And that's not BlackBerry. That's Google. That's Android.
Yes.
On your post, there was more of a site-related question. Says the site design is from Jope. The site design is looking good, but it doesn't seem to work with HTTPS on the Opera browser on my laptop. I keep getting notifications that the site isn't using a secured connection. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, we're not. We don't have an HTTPS, and I can tell you that is on our list. The secure socket layer is it. We shouldn't have any of your information. First of all, if somebody wants to sign into the site using their real information, they're totally welcome to do that. If someone wants to sign into the site as Joe Bob from Joe Bob Land, we're totally okay with that. We want you to sign into the site. We want you to take part in our site, but we don't want your information. So your information, as far as I'm concerned, is safe with us. But of course, there are other things that go along with that. Hi, Dave. I'll be right with you. There's other things that go along with that for people's safety and security. It is on the list. It was something that probably would have been taken care of by now, except apparently we've pissed somebody off. And we've been under attack for the last, say, week. You think it's been about a week, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
a week.
So if you've tried to get on the site and you weren't able to, it's because we were having denial of service attacks. Robert's been working himself to death, getting us up and running and protecting us from that. And at the same time, he's talking with the developer of our new app that's on the way. He's having to do stuff on the back end of that. He's updated our forums, done a few things to the site. So, I mean, the guy responsible for that is doing a lot right now. So it is coming. It may take a little while before it happens. Joe. Welcome, Dave.
Hey,
late.
How you doing?
You're late.
Yeah, so I was held up by 18 holes of fun.
Hi, Dave.
How's it going?
It's nice to finally have a chance to chat with you.
Right on. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
And although Robert's been working himself to death, he's still alive. So there.
He is.
He's good to go. Yes.
Okay. So I think we hit all the mail questions. There was an article earlier this week. Well, it may have even just been yesterday. I'm not entirely sure. Let me see. I've got it up here. June 9th. So that was yesterday. On the CBC investigates, BlackBerry hands over user data to help police kick ass, insiders say. And he talks about, it starts off with a specialized unit inside the mobile firm BlackBerry has for years enthusiastically helped intercept user data. Wow, I can't read tonight. And he talks about this specialized team. This author, Dave Seglins, it's always the Daves, he says he's a CBC News journalist whose recent reporting is focused on Canada's national security and surveillance programs revealed through documents obtained by U.S. whistleblower Edward Snowden. And I really think this guy just really wants to be the next Edward Snowden. But once again, it's got people in an outrage saying that BlackBerry is handing over our information and blah 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 blah. Truth of the matter is, this is the same story over and over again, repeated over and over again. It's nothing that BlackBerry has denied. They're very clear with what it takes to get the metadata that they will provide to the authorities under lawful access. The basically new information in this story that is coming from unnamed sources is basically providing a name to the clerical staff that processes the requests. Honestly.
It's so old. It's had so many forks stuck in it. It's been done 100 times. It's such a joke. It's boring. And to pick on one particular company regarding this is completely ridiculous. And it's like an assassination attempt, again and again. Like, everybody does it. It's so boring.
We know, because of the great encryption debate with Apple versus the FBI, we saw the actual numbers of the times that Apple has helped authorities throughout the time. And if you guys read the site, you know that I've been claiming for quite a while that this, Apple going up against the FBI had nothing to do with users' privacy, but had everything to do with the costs involved in abiding by those orders. Looking at the amounts of requests that Apple was hit with, that is out there, and the amounts that they complied with, do you really think that Apple didn't have a staff of people to answer those requests? Do you really think that Facebook doesn't have people set aside to deal with government requests, lawful access requests, anything of that nature? Of course BlackBerry does too. And this isn't news. It's
no,
just
everybody does. Yeah, everybody does. It's just, I guess it's a favorite target because it's the original source of mobile security, so it's the most fun. That BlackBerry has the target on its back, so it's fun to, it's just fun to throw darts at them.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing. They're throwing shit and trying to see what sticks, because we know that they can get into Apple's with or without permission. They can get into black phones with or without permission. And BlackBerry, being a company known for security, its strongest point, that's the part that they choose to attack. So a lot of these articles, they come out with these articles to, belittle BlackBerry security or make it seem like it has flaws. When the truth is, I don't think a BlackBerry can be hacked without BlackBerry's help. But we know that all these other devices can. It's been proven that they can. They're hacked all the time. Whereas with BlackBerries, if you don't have that encryption key from BlackBerry themselves, you're not getting in. So I think they're trying to attack BlackBerry where BlackBerry is strongest, and so yeah, that's my take on the whole thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and you're right, Chris. It's just boring to hear it over and over again and getting dredged up, and
Yeah.
So we've heard this joke how many times, and it doesn't get funnier when you tell it again. It's just boring.
Well, right before we came on the blogcast, someone had messaged me asking about it, and I said pretty much the same thing I said here. It's not news. It's just not news. It's the same thing over and over again. And that person's response was, well, Chin needs to come out and say something. And it's like, how many friggin' times does he have to come out and say the same thing? Even if you look at that CBC article, it provides a response from BlackBerry. And you look at the response from BlackBerry, it's the same thing we saw in, I think it was January, when they first started talking about hacking and encryption keys and this and that. And it's like, BlackBerry, how many times do they have to, come out of their office and state the same blasted thing?
I guess it's forever. I don't know. I mean, we've all seen employees that, need that same discussion every 6 months or something, because they straighten up and then they fall off the rails, and then they're okay again, and you have to say it again. You might as well put it in your diary for 6 months out. You're going to have to talk to this guy again, because the same stupid dead horse gets hauled out so he can get some more beaten in public. Completely ridiculous.
And to add to that, Dave, how convenient is it to write a story with an anonymous source?
Right.
I mean, really.
He's anonymous? Oh, it must be real then.
Yeah.
Or whatever, That sure lends some credibility to it. Yeah. Shut up.
Well, I mean, honestly, I just think this investigative reporter just discovered the name of a clerical staff, basically. I mean, honestly, he's not going to go down in history for that. He found the title of clerks. Yay! Yay him.
Yeah. Fabulous investigative reporting.
Yeah.
Boring.
It's also kind of convenient that there's another, and it is going around. It started with CBC. I saw it on Mobile Syrup. What is it with your Canadian media going after BlackBerry all the time, Dave?
It's fashionable, yeah. It's a fashion thing. The CBC is horrible for it.
You just don't want business in your own country, do you?
It's Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is publicly funded. Thank you very much. And they got some kind of woody for busting on BlackBerry, and I don't get it. Like the guy running the IT department is an Apple fan or some frickin' thing. They got it's terrible.
Mobile Syrup too. There's a Canadian blog that jumped right on board. That's always there to jump on board and bash BlackBerry.
Yeah, well
wait a minute.
They're more like the kind of people that are into headlines. I don't know. I don't think they're as much bashers as they are opportunists.
I just don't get Canadians, man, because you'll never find an American blog that would go after Apple. Never mind.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if it's a Canadian source because it doesn't have a "there a" at the end of every sentence.
Oh no, it is. It's cbc.ca. Dude, you gotta get it right. Yeah, CBC. Yeah. Don't get me started on those people.
Yeah, it's
and I pay for it. I pay for this. Oh my God. Must be joking. Oh well.
What else do we have on the docket, Erica? I've already forgotten. You did a better job of running the podcast. You are now the showrunner.
Don't give me that.
Did she just bleep herself?
You wanted to talk about iMessage cross-platform, I believe.
Oh yeah, and that would have tied in greatly with, all of a sudden BlackBerry's BBM is coming under attack the week before the rumored release of release of iMessage going cross-platform, which would only be Android, by the way. So what do you think about that? Another competitor in the midst, and this time it's Apple.
Well, I hereby do solemnly swear that I will not download this.
I wouldn't even do it for testing, not even just to look at it.
I do not care. I do not want my bits and bytes running through their servers. Forget it.
I think the key word there is rumored. I find it hard to believe that they would let anything go that they own. Because that would be like admitting that you're allowed to own something other than an Apple.
Well, they have released like Apple Music on Android. They have been doing this, and we know that with their, I'm going to say it again, double-digit device loss, or device decrease in sales, double-digit loss in their sales. Good Lord, I can't speak tonight. See what happens when I take a break from the blogcast? But basically, with their devices falling apart in sales, they're saying that they're going to look at services. They're saying that they're wanting to do exactly what Chin has been doing with BlackBerry. So this could be something that they're doing. But honestly, what does iMessage do that would be a grab for somebody on another platform? Even iPhone users don't, a lot of them don't realize there's a difference between iMessage and text message. There's no, I mean, let's compare it to our favorite browser. There's no channels, there's no voice, there's no video. You're basically texting, and you have emojis that other people can't see on other platforms. Yay!
No. It's a gateway, maybe. It's a gateway, maybe. And if it sort of garnered X number of users on other platforms, people who escaped the walled garden and went to Android or whatever, or BlackBerry for that matter, it may or may not be a gateway test, dip your toe in the water to see if maybe you can spread FaceTime around or other things. So, to me, yet another messaging platform which is as limited as you say, Brad, to just texting and some weak-assed other emojis. Who cares? There's nothing there. I don't see why that's attractive, but it might be just, if it is true, a test to see if something else might escape, such as FaceTime.
I think we need a new T-shirt. My BBM can kick your iMessage ass.
I like that.
Good. I like that.
Yes, all day.
I personally wouldn't let iMessage touching any of my devices. I would not want it contaminating this.
No, why would you?
Well, I wonder if when they brick their next iMessage software, if it would brick an Android phone. Will it brick the whole phone like it does their own?
Yeah, that brings up an interesting thought, or maybe it's just interesting in my own mind, and that is, like, how good are these guys at cross-platform anything? I mean, they've been such a closed shop forever. How good are they at doing anything cross-platform? I mean,
my guess,
iTunes on a PC is miserable.
Oh, it is.
My guess is
miserable.
My guess is it'll take all 800 engineers and it still won't run efficiently.
Yeah, no, that's just the camera guys, right? They need another 1,200 guys to get, iMessage running on
Sure.
a Samsung phone or something, because, that's the way they roll. 800 people on a camera. Oh, I know.
I just find this entire thing to be a joke because I don't know, maybe I'm biased, I am biased, but I'm already using a messaging service that can do 10,000 things more more than iMessage can. So why?
I don't know why, but why rhymes with I, so maybe that's why.
There's
iMessage.
a T-shirt, the Y phone. There you go.
Yeah, right.
Why?
Why?
We got to get John on that. The Y phone. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. WHI.
Just why?
All right, Brad. I think the last thing you wanted to talk about was our new hashtag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well said. Good on you.
It's just kind of, we were talking in our group a few days ago. The majority of the promotion about BlackBerry from everyone, including us, is about security. We know that. We also know that the general populace has chosen Android. Actually, they've chosen Android, and then they've chosen, a much smaller group have chosen iPhone. They obviously aren't concerned about security, right? We know that our phones do a hell of a lot more than just keep our stuff secure. My BlackBerry phone, I'm going to say my BlackBerry 10 phone, is my media machine. It is my camera. It is my remote for my TV. It does all of my entertainment needs. That we feel like we need to promote more than anything else. The fun stuff, because I got into an argument in one of those articles over at Mobile Syrup because I know. I try and stay away from that stuff. But it just felt like I was back in the old CD forums again. And
whatever.
Yeah, I spent and this guy kept pulling the same old tired arguments out of his ass, right? The phones are old, the users are old, nobody cares about your security, nobody cares about your keyboard, and it's like, do you know what my phone can do that your phone can't do? So I want us to start promoting that stuff. The thing that frustrated me today about my BlackBerry Priv that runs Android is something that Android phones don't or can't do unless you pay Google for, YouTube Red. My phone does it already. So that's the sort of stuff that I want to see. The first thing that we should do is, the shot on BlackBerry. Get on social media, show the amazing pictures that people are taking, because I've seen some amazing pictures. I'm not much of a photographer at all, but I've seen some amazing pictures from some of our users and some of our members, and people that walk around so proud of the little camera on the iPhone. They should see what the BlackBerry can do. So Dave, hush, Dave. So attack social media. Get out there on social media with your best kit pictures and post them up with the hashtag shot on BlackBerry, and let it be seen, and let users of other platforms see that it's not the old-fashioned dinosaur phones that we're using. Our phones can kick their phones' ass.
Yeah. I get great pleasure in our company meetings because I'm well known as the BlackBerry guy, and of course there's a fair number of BlackBerry users at our office, but of course there's a fair number of other users too. And one of our last meetings, it was like, okay, well, Mr. Apple user, why don't you share your screen up on our big screen TV with the WiDi that's there, and oh yeah, because you can't, bummer. Okay, I'll take care of that for you, no problem. Too much fun.
So that's the stuff we need to get out there, because we in the BlackBerry community, we know it. We know what our phones can do. The others don't know it, and we tend to take it for granted. And the other platforms aren't catching up to those things. They're not focusing on that right now. Right now, they're focusing on security. Apple's focusing on this encryption debate. The Android Marshmallow update is all security fixes. It's all security updates. And that's what we had somebody on our channel, one of our regular readers, regular commenters, that was pissed off that the next, BlackBerry update is all security. He wants the fun stuff. He wants the features. And I responded, it's, have you looked at the Marshmallow update? And he hadn't, but it's like, it's all security. So the other platforms are rushing to catch up with BlackBerry with what they're great at. Meanwhile, at the same time, our BlackBerry's on what you would call it the ancillary stuff, right? Not the core of the BlackBerry phone. The core of the BlackBerry phone is the security. Those other things that BlackBerry does on BlackBerry 10, the newest of those operating systems, it beats them. It does better than them. The only problem BlackBerry 10 has is Facebook, which owns, which is Facebook, which owns Instagram, which owns WhatsApp. Facebook doesn't like us. When I say us, because it's obviously not just BlackBerry, it's obviously the users, because they're withholding their apps and services from us, right? So
well,
Facebook doesn't like
us. Guess what, Zuckerberg? The feeling's mutual.
Yeah. He's one odd-looking little dude. And
plus he got hacked.
So we don't have... Yeah. Yes, he did.
Too funny.
Oh, da-da-da.
And didn't you just have that song running through your head? Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Da da. Oh God.
Now me as like your regular, just every Joe user, I've tried using other platforms. In fact, last summer I tried a iPhone 6 for 2 weeks. After AT&T's trial period, I took it back. I tried a Galaxy S6 that lasted 2 weeks. Ended up taking it back. I could not leave BlackBerry because I'm using these other devices, and the whole time I'm taking pictures. There's no files to put them in. There's no organization at all because on these other devices, the file managers, I'm sorry, but they're just subpar. They don't do what BlackBerry does. And then the other thing is the the other thing is the multitasking. I mean, I've got 4 different email accounts, 20 different people that I text and message with on a regular basis, and I do this all simultaneously. I'd actually like to see someone compare a passport to an iPhone 6 on a big screen and just demonstrate the multitasking abilities. I mean, they're just workhorses, and I don't care if it's games. I don't care if it's just standard messaging and texting and web browsing. It's just faster. I mean, the passport's been out for how long, and it's still there's just a night and day difference in terms of speed, even with these newer devices that Android's pumping out. There's still just a huge difference.
Yeah. No, it's efficient, and there's no two ways about it. It's efficient. The most efficient operating system on the planet, and I'll include desktops in that. It's just built from the ground up better. But I did want to make
more time to have more fun.
Yeah, I did want to make one little distinction about security, or whatever you want to call it, and I want the distinction to me is there's privacy and there's security, and they're not both the same thing. The security is the kind of thing that BlackBerry is very, very good at. Well, as privacy as well. But in a different vein, privacy or encryption is what Apple sort of went with, not security. Because if you go to CVE details or whatever, Apple looks like crap. That's not security. Whereas BlackBerry is a golden boy. How many flaws does BlackBerry have? You could probably count them on one hand, even if you had 2 fingers chopped off. Apple, well, you need to grow limbs because you're going to need more fingers, home slice. You know what I mean? When you look at privacy, the other conversation, then Apple, they just started doing this. They know nothing about security, nothing. But they're trying to encrypt their devices, and to a degree, they've been somewhat successful. But I just sort of wanted to paint a picture of these sort of 2 different things that matter. One's privacy and one's security, and they're not the same thing at all. I don't know why I went on that rant, but I did. So there.
just to bring it home, like
the shot on BlackBerry is a great thing. I've seen some photos on Twitter. On our site, I've seen photos, and you're right, Brad. They look amazing. I myself am not a photographer, so I can't say what's a good picture, what's a bad picture. But I can tell you that the Tim Cook one was very bad.
Oh, is that the Apple one?
Yeah.
No, the one he took at the sporting event that everything was fuzzy, shot on iPhone 6.
Yeah, fuzzy apples, fuzzy logic go together.
But just to bring it home, like we're in a BBM group, and it's a very active BBM group. It's a work group for the site, and it tends to go off a lot, and especially when the Brits wake up and join in, and Grim goes nuts. Our phones are going nonstop. Now, we can do other things and stay in contact at the same time. We can be watching, Robert's intermission video as we're chatting in the group.
Again.
Yeah, we can do all this. Now, when you walk away from a BlackBerry and you discover you can't do that anymore, it's frustrating. And I'm sorry, even when you walk onto another BlackBerry that's powered by Android and you can't do that anymore, it's frustrating. That's why we've seen a lot of people leave and come back, and it's really funny is when you're talking to, and I'm going to use iPhone as an example again because they're an easy mark. When you're speaking to them about multitasking and their response is, my phone can multitask, and without fail, every single time, what they use as an example of their phone multitasking is the fact that they can do stuff while music is playing in the background.
Yeah.
Any one of you could go down to your local Walmart and buy an old flip feature phone, and it'll do the same thing. Playing music in the background is not multitasking. When an iPhone user can walk up to me and show me a video playing in the background while they're messaging someone, while they're sending a text message and emailing and have their draft and send that out, and when they can attach a photo to it, then they can talk about multitasking.
Yeah, and Brad, it's not without fail. It's with fail. Just thought I'd correct you. It's with total fail.
Test it, though. Test it. Go to one of your iCronies and ask them about multitasking and see what their example is. I'll bet you a drink.
Well, they even have safety commercials that are dedicated because of Apple, because people are staring at their phones for so long trying to figure out how to multitask with it while they're walking down the street. There's a whole public service commercial out, keep your eyes where you're going instead of on your phone. So I think Apple, in a very indirect way, created that service announcement because they're staring at it for an hour trying to figure out how to get something done.
I kind of wish one of the Aussies was on here tonight because I read that one of their cities down under, was installing like traffic lights and traffic notifications on the ground so that people would see them as they were walking with their cell phones.
Oh my God, that is pandering to the pathetic. Oh no.
I want to ask him about it. I want to know if that's true.
No, tell me it's not true. That's the old video, not video, but film where that huge Zeppelin caught on fire, and the guy on the radio is going, "Oh, the humanity." That's what I want to say with that. I mean, truly, people, that's what we're going to support. Oh no.
Did we touch on all of our topics, Erica?
I think we got them all, yeah.
Yay!
Erica's
I don't know
gonna
what
become
half
our-
of them are. Yay!
So
Erica's gonna become our blog top.
does this video live on Google forever? And if so, how much editing are you going to do?
Oh, it's there forever, and there's no editing. It's just there.
This is raw. Yeah.
Wonderful.
UTB raw.
UTB raw.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Oh, and hey, Dave.
Well, it was
What?
nice to be back with you guys.
Yay!
All right.
Good to have you back. What's your name again?
Chris.
Yeah, I'm just.
No, I was
some guy.
talking about Brad. Oh, wait a minute. I remembered his name.
And welcome on board, Chris. We plan to see you more than this time, hopefully.
Yeah, right on. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm pushing the button. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Okay, see you later. Have fun, kids.